My marriage to Emma was something I had always cherished. We had been together for 8 years, married for 5, and had 2 wonderful children. Emma was not just my wife, she was my best friend and my rock. I never thought that my seemingly perfect life could be shattered by betrayal. It all began with subtle changes that were easy to dismiss at first. Emma had always been active on social media, posting about our family adventures and keeping in touch with friends and family. But lately, she had become increasingly secretive with her phone. She started taking it everywhere, even to the bathroom. I often saw her smiling at her screen, texting late into the night. Initially, I brushed it off as harmless, but as time went on, my curiosity turned into suspicion. One evening, when Emma was out with her friends, I was home alone with the kids. As I was tidying up the living room, I heard her phone buzz on the kitchen counter. It was unusual for her to leave it unattended. I glanced at the screen and saw a notification from a name I didn't recognize, Ryan. My heart raced. Ryan was her ex-boyfriend from college, a name she had always spoken of with disdain. I hesitated for a moment, but then unlocked her phone. What I found made my blood run cold. The messages between Emma and Ryan were a mix of old memories and recent exchanges. Their conversations were intimate, filled with jokes, shared secrets, and the occasional flirtatious comment. My stomach churned as I read through them. There were no explicit photos or blatant confessions of love, but the emotional connection was undeniable. Feeling a knot tightening in my chest, I decided to dig deeper. I checked her recent call history and found several calls to and from Ryan, always during times when I was at work or late at night. The pattern was clear, but I needed more proof. I needed to be sure. Over the next few days, I paid closer attention to Emma's behavior. I noticed how she lit up when her phone buzzed, how she seemed more distant and preoccupied. One night, when she said she was going out with her friends, I decided to follow her. I felt guilty for resorting to such measures, but I had to know the truth. I watched from a distance as she met Ryan at a small, dimly lit cafe. They hugged and sat close, their heads bent together in conversation. My heart shattered into a million pieces. This was the confirmation I needed, but it didn't make the betrayal any easier to bear. When Emma returned home that night, I was waiting for her in the living room. She looked surprised to see me still up. "Hey, you're up late," she said with a smile, but I could see the unease in her eyes. "We need to talk," I said, my voice strained. She hesitated, then sat down across from me. "What's going on?" "I know about Ryan," I said bluntly. Her face went pale. "What do you mean?" "I saw your messages. I followed you tonight. I know you've been meeting him." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I can explain, John. It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" I demanded, my voice rising. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're cheating on me." "It's complicated," she began, but I cut her off. "Complicated? Emma, we've been married for 5 years. We have 2 kids. How could you do this to us?" She broke down, sobbing. "I never meant to hurt you. Ryan and I reconnected a few months ago. At first, it was just catching up, but then, I don't know, John, I was feeling lonely and he was there. But I swear, we haven't slept together. It's just been talking." "Just talking?" I echoed bitterly. "You think that makes it any better? You've been lying to me, hiding things from me. That's betrayal, Emma." She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "John, please. I love you. I love our family. I made a mistake, but it didn't mean anything." I stood up, feeling the weight of her betrayal crushing me. It meant something to me. "How can I trust you after this?" She sobbed harder, but I couldn't bring myself to comfort her. I felt too broken, too betrayed. The days that followed were a blur of anger, sadness, and confusion. We tried to talk, to find a way to move forward, but the trust was gone. Every time I looked at her, all I could see was the image of her with Ryan, laughing and sharing secrets that should have been ours. In the end, we decided to take a break. Emma moved in with her parents, and I stayed in our home with the kids. We needed time to heal, to figure out if our love was strong enough to survive this betrayal. Months passed, and slowly, painfully, we began to rebuild our relationship. It wasn't easy. Trust, once broken, is hard to restore. But we took it one day at a time, one step at a time. We went to couples counseling, talked openly about our feelings, and tried to reconnect. One night, during one of our counseling sessions, Emma finally opened up about her feelings of loneliness and isolation. "John, I felt like we were drifting apart. You were always busy with work, and I was overwhelmed with the kids. When Ryan came back into my life, it felt like I had someone to talk to again. I know it was wrong, but I was desperate for connection. Hearing her say that made me realize that I, too, had a role in what happened. I had been so focused on providing for our family that I neglected the emotional needs of my wife. It didn't excuse her actions, but it gave me a new perspective. I took a deep breath and said, "Emma, I understand that we both made mistakes. I should have been there for you more. But moving forward, we need to be honest with each other. No more secrets." Emma nodded, tears in her eyes. "I promised, John. No more secrets." We made a pact to communicate better, to be more present for each other, and to prioritize our relationship. It was a long road, but we were committed to making it work. We started going on regular date nights, something we hadn't done in years. We spent more time together as a family, taking the kids on weekend outings and enjoying simple pleasures like movie nights at home. The healing process was slow and painful, but we began to rediscover the love that brought us together in the first place. There were still moments of doubt and insecurity, but with time, those wounds started to heal. One day, as we were sitting in the park watching our kids play, Emma turned to me and said, "John, thank you for giving us another chance. I love you more than words can express." I took her hand and smiled. "I love you too, Emma. We've been through a lot, but we're stronger because of it." As we watched our children laugh and play, I realized that our love had endured one of the greatest tests. We had faced betrayal and pain, but we emerged on the other side with a deeper understanding and a stronger bond. Our marriage wasn't perfect, but it was real. And in the end, that was all that mattered.